All right, buckle up everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into some seriously mind-blowing stuff. We're talking ancient mysteries, cataclysmic events, and the kind of theories that make you question everything you thought you knew about history.
Sounds right up my alley.
Oh, it is. And lucky for us, we've got a Joe Rogan Experience episode featuring the one and only Randall Carlson to guide us.
Randall Carlson. The guy's a walking encyclopedia of ancient knowledge. He's got this incredible knack for connecting the dots between, ancient myths and scientific evidence.
Exactly. And let me tell you, this episode is jam-packed with those wait what moments.
Yeah.
So we're here to break it all down, separate the mind-blowing facts from the even more mind-blowing speculation. And believe me, there's a lot to unpack. We're talking events so massive, so world-altering, they make the eruption of Vesuvius look like a backyard barbecue.
No kidding. And it all starts with this puzzle that scientists stumbled upon back in the 1970s. They called it the energy paradox.
The energy paradox. Okay, now you've got my attention.
So picture this. For ages, everyone thought the last ice age just kind of, faded away gradually. A slow melt over thousands of years.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, until radiocarbon dating came along and totally flipped the script. Turns out those ice sheets vanished way faster than anyone had imagined. Like, way faster. It was like hitting fast forward on the planet's climate.
Whoa, hold on. That's a serious climate shift. What could possibly cause that kind of rapid meltdown?
That's the million-dollar question. But here's where it gets really interesting. Get this. Scientists found evidence of forests flourishing in central Canada just 30,000 years ago. And not just a few scraggly trees, we're talking full-blown forests. In places where, according to the old models, there should have been a mile of ice.
Wait, forests on top of glaciers? That doesn't seem right.
Exactly. It's like finding a palm tree in Antarctica. This discovery told scientists that something absolutely extraordinary had to have happened, something capable of unleashing a massive surge of energy, enough to melt glaciers at an unprecedented rate. And that, my friend, is where the energy paradox comes in.
Okay, you've definitely hooked me. We've got a planetary mystery in our hands. What could possibly generate that much heat, melt all that ice so quickly? I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well, get comfortable, because one of the most compelling and, let's be honest, controversial explanations involves a cosmic visitor, a comet.
Okay, a comet slamming into Earth. Talk about an extinction-level event, right? But I have to ask, is there any hard evidence to back up this theory? Or is this mostly speculation?
Oh, no, it's not just speculation. There's actually some pretty compelling evidence to support the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. First off, archaeologists have found this thin layer of sediment. It dates back to the Younger Dryas, and they found it at sites all over the globe.
Interesting. What do they call this layer?
They call it the black mat. And this isn't your run-of-the-mill dirt. This stuff is loaded with, well, with stuff that screams impact event.
Okay, like what? Give me the rundown.
We're talking nanodiamonds. These tiny, tiny diamonds that can only form under immense pressure and heat, the kind of conditions you'd find during a comet impact. And that's not all. There's also melt glass, which is basically rock that's been flash melted and then re-solidified. Oh, and we can't forget about the metallic spherules, which are these tiny beads of metal that literally rain down from the sky after an impact.
Okay, that's some pretty convincing physical evidence. But what about the impact on life,
Yeah.
on the planet? This was right around the time when those megafauna, the mammoths, the saber-toothed tigers, all those giant creatures went extinct.
Right. Exactly. And the timing is, well, it's incredibly suspicious. The extinction of all those amazing creatures lines up perfectly with the onset of the Younger Dryas. It's like someone just flipped a switch and poof, all gone. These animals that had thrived for millennia just vanished.
Wow. Are you suggesting that a comet impact could have triggered this mass extinction event?
It's definitely a strong possibility. I mean, imagine the scene. A massive comet, miles wide, slams into the Earth. The force is unimaginable. It triggers wildfires that rage across continents. The skies go dark with dust and debris, blocking out the sun. Temperatures plummet. And then the mega tsunamis hit. We're talking walls of water thousands of feet high, reshaping coastlines, drowning entire land masses.
It's hard to even fathom that level of destruction. But is everyone on board with this impact theory? There have to be some scientists who aren't convinced, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's always healthy skepticism in the scientific community, as there should be. Some scientists argue that the megafauna extinctions could be explained by climate change alone or by overhunting from early humans. And to be fair, those factors likely played a role.
But Carlson's point is that it's about the big picture.
Right.
Right? We're talking about extinctions, but on a global scale.
Right.
It's like something had to kickstart that process.
Yeah.
And he's saying it was way more intense than just a gradual change in climate.
Yeah, he's not dismissing humans or, the natural kind of comings and goings of climate change and ice ages and things like that. But
Right.
he thinks that they might have been a contributing factor, but there was something else bigger that happened first.
And this is where it gets really interesting because, Carlson is really into the ancient myths and legends.
Yeah.
And he's always saying, like, maybe they're true.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're based on something true.
Yeah.
And he brings up Atlantis.
Of course. Yeah.
Because why not?
Why not?
So is Atlantis real?
Well,
Obviously, that's what we all want to know.
yeah. Well, and what's interesting is that in the telling of that story is that there's a lot of parallels with what we know happened with the end of the last ice age.
What do you mean?
So like the earthquakes and the flooding and the ocean swallowing up the land.
You mean like meltwater, pulse 1b kind of stuff?
Exactly.
Wow.
So, and then it goes even deeper than that because Plato, he tells the story of Solon, who was this Greek lawmaker who supposedly learned about Atlantis from Egyptian priests.
Okay.
And these priests, they said that they'd had the story of Atlantis for like 9,000 years.
So they're saying that Atlantis predates even the Younger Dryas.
That's what they're saying.
Wow.
Which is incredible to think about because if there's a grain of truth to that,
Right.
then that means that whatever happened, it was so unbelievably cataclysmic
Yeah.
that its memory survived for thousands of years.
That's incredible.
It really is.
So we've got this possible evidence for comet impacts,
Yeah.
megafauna extinctions.
Yeah.
Maybe Atlantis is real. I mean,
It's mind-blowing stuff.
it's a lot to take in. Is there any good news here?
Well, the good news is that by understanding these past events, we can actually prepare for the future. Because if history teaches us anything, it's that we can't always predict what's going to happen.
And that brings us to Carlson's final point, which is all about planetary defense.
Right, because as he puts it, near-Earth space is a lot more crowded than we think.
And a lot more dangerous, too.
Yeah, and, we've had some close calls recently that are pretty scary when you think about it.
Like that one in 2002.
Yeah, the one with the asteroid that was almost a kilometer wide.
Imagine that hitting Earth.
I know, it would be devastating.
And they only spotted it like a few days before it zoomed past.
Exactly, which is why Carlson argues that we really need to up our game when it comes to planetary defense.
So we need to be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. We need to learn from the past and be ready for whatever the cosmos might throw at us in the future.
It's like that old saying, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Exactly. And when it comes to cosmic events, repeating the past is not an option.
So there you have it. The energy paradox, the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, the legend of Atlantis. It's been quite a deep dive.
It really has, and hopefully it's given everyone a lot to think about.
For sure. And who knows, maybe by unraveling the mysteries of our planet's past, we can create a safer and more sustainable future. Until next time, everyone.